fan. We're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
And aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. And this is the only show that's by a fan, for the fan, and about you, the fan. For a second there, I had 14 people on Twitter. I've never had that many people on Twitter. Hey, Twitter, stay around. It might be fun. Oh, my goodness. What a game. What a win. What a wow. I don't know what else to say. What do you think there, Lance?
Wow. No. Like I said, they weathered the storm in the second period. You knew the Knights were going to come out in the second period. Sorry I couldn't be on for the intermission, but
yeah, no problem.
They really weathered that storm better than I've seen them do in 15 to 20 games. And this is their best game, I think, complete game, maybe all season. And I might be wrong, but it's got to be in the top 3 or 4.
It's the top 2. I put the opening game against Colorado as probably their best game of the season.
Yeah.
And this one right behind there. They played very, very well tonight. They did go into a little bit of a prevent in the second period.
Yep.
But they got out of it. They only allowed 9 shots. They took 5, allowed 9. That's
the one thing I don't like to see is the fact that Vegas took 45 shots. That's a lot of shots.
That's not good at all, you know.
That's not good.
Yeah, not good at all.
Everybody going on about that fight between Clifford and Reeves.
Yeah, that was nothing.
It was just a lot of holding and grabbing. It's like they were giving each other hugs. And I understand
Reeves got a few good punches in there.
Got a few, but you know what? Hey, I understand. You got 2 big guys. After a couple punches, and you're trying to keep yourself up, and his weight's against you, and your weight's against him. It's hard to keep that going. It takes so much energy out of you just to fight for 20 seconds.
Yeah, they did a lot today. Jim Siegel says, "Where's this team been the last month?" Old Benner came to play and getting the #1 star. You know, I'm going to say this, Jim. It absolutely has to do with Coach Berube watching the Blue Note Fan Report, because he finally decided to use his speed. Wallman gets his first NHL goal. Way to go. Nice goal. It was a good setup. Bennington got a swagger back. Well, he got a swagger back for this game. Now I'm going to cushion the enthusiasm a little bit, because he's got to show it in the next game. Because he's got to go back to back. You can't start Husso in those 2 games against the Wild.
Husso's going to start. I guarantee he'll start one of them.
Oh, I think it starts both of them. I think Benner's got to start both of them.
I'm talking about Husso.
I can't see it.
I don't see him doing that back to back, especially if the Blues lose the first game, or if he allows 3 or 4 goals, even if they win. Because here's the thing. Husso hasn't played very much, and I know it's only a 56 game season. Yeah. But Bennington has not played a lot of games in the NHL in one season. His most is 50 something. And, you start playing him a lot and he gets in a playoff run. By the time that 3rd round comes around, if they're that good and they're playing that well to get there, he's going to be worn out. You can't just all of a sudden just stop playing Husso. And I agree with you. These fans are going nuts over the 1 win and acting like this is the Stanley Cup team from 2019. Hey, it was a great game. They deserve the credit. But we saw what happens when they go into the Berube defensive first mode in the second period. And without Jordan Binnington being in the top of his game, the Blues wouldn't have won this game. The Blues would have lost this game in the second period. But overall, it was in the first and third periods, it was their best wide open offensive game. Like you said, top 1 or 2 offensive games in the year.
Yeah, no, this was they played with speed, and that was nice to see for a change. Actually, someone got to pick the game right. Jessica Bueller, 3-1 with O'Reilly. So she gets 4 points. She doesn't get any bonus points with O'Reilly, but she gets her 4 points, and that's going to jump her up. Lana Brandon headed it 3-0, and it looked like she was going to, with Tarasenko. She had a 5-point game, and she ended up dropping to a 3-point game. So, a lot of people moved in the pick'em contest. So not only is the next two games going to be huge for the Blues themselves, I think they're going to be really huge for the pick'em contest, right? And I got 1 point. Remember, I said 5-2. I said, I don't know, maybe I'll make it 5-3 in case I figure out how to score tonight. Boy, I'm glad I did that. Cha-ching! Matt Lowe says Benner made really good tonight. He did. He was on. He had that swagger. And if you want to know why I say he had that swagger, wasn't what he did on the ice, what he did after Pietrangelo shot. Pietrangelo shot it, and Pietrangelo stared him down, and he just looked at him. Like, yep, I got it. That's the Bennington swagger that we were talking about. He didn't look confused back there. He trusted his defense. When there were mistakes made, people did it. Chris says this team actually made for a track meet. Chris, I've been saying that for a month and a half. Come on, give the players credit for sitting back. I don't believe Berube goes to prevent in the start of the second.
Yes, he did. He most certainly, he does it every time they get a good lead. He has talked about it before, why he does it, how he does it, so on and so forth. That if you watch the game, that was a kind of a prevent. They didn't press as much. They did have some offensive opportunities, but they were doing their best. And I know Vegas really put it on them, and they had to play, good defense in the second period. But yeah, he really stressed defense in the second period because he knew Vegas was going to come out flying. If he hadn't stressed it, most likely the Blues may have not have won the game.
Yeah, I saw the prevent, and okay, I don't know, and I'll say this: I'll give some credit to his comment. I don't know for a fact that Berube put them in a prevent, or if they went into a prevent because that's something they've done before.
Teams don't. If the team does that and the coach doesn't approve it or told them not to be strong defensively or whatever,
yeah,
he tells them to do something different. A coach is not going to let a team play prevent defense for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 18 minutes of a period and just let him do it if he doesn't approve of it. Trust me.
Yeah, I get it. I've been on his case pretty hard, and I got to just give him some. Hey, he finally decided to use speed, and that's what he used tonight.
I'm definitely getting him credit for that. I mean, he let them open up, and he needs to. When he's playing against a team where he has to open it up, he must do that. He has to do that because good teams like Vegas, they're going to get their opportunities to score, and unless your goalie is really on that night, you're going to give up 3 goals probably because I think they're averaging 3.3 or 3.4 goals a game. So, which means you've got to open it up. And the smart coaches open it up against teams they need to, and they go back into playing defensively against teams they need to do that, or they do a combination of both through a period. You've got to make those adjustments, and he made that adjustment for this game.
Yeah, well, the one adjustment that he made, the third period, they came out firing in the third.
Yep.
So they came out and they took control of the game in the third. So while they may have sat back in the second, they didn't continue to sit back. Yep. They came out in the third and they pushed it and they pushed it and they pushed it and they pushed it. That third goal ended up being huge. It wasn't the game winner, but from Wallman, Wallman being in the right spot. And not only Barbashev had a wonderful game tonight.
Yep.
Barbashev had a great game. Schwartz, it had a good third period. He didn't have a good second.
And
Jim Siegel.
I saw some people be on to Kyrou for falling down several times. But if you noticed, players on Vegas were falling down. Other players in the Blues lineup were falling down. There was something wrong with the ice, and we've seen that a lot lately, even in games away. A lot of players falling down all the time.
Do you know what's wrong with the ice? I can't believe no one's figured this out yet. You know what's wrong with the ice? It's too cold. The ice is set for the heat in the building, right? When ice gets really, really hard, right? Even ice. If ice is too hard, it's even hard to skate on, right? It's got to be between a certain level and not too thick. I think that the ice plants are still set for all that heat in the building, and it's not there. And we noticed it, especially in the bubbles. I mean, guys were falling down left and right all throughout the bubbles. I don't think that's something that's ever been fixed.
Well, you can also look at it this way: in the bubbles, they're playing in warmer temperatures than they have before because of the season going in so long, and it's not set up to deal with the hot weather. You can look at it both ways. The ice can be too soft and too slushy. Myself personally, I never had any issue with the ice being too hard. Is it possible? I don't know. I'm not an ice expert. I just played hockey. All I know is hockey, and I've never heard anybody say the ice was too hard. But hey, maybe maybe it can be.
I mean, that's just something that I'm thinking. See what happens when Sammy Blaze plays. He brings speed, hits everything that moves. Jim, I've been saying it for a month. I've been talking about not using speed, not having speed out there, and you know what? You put it out there, and it beats a team that's trying to play. Vegas tried to play heavy tonight, and lo and behold, what did we do? We used their own strategy against them. We used speed to beat. They used speed to beat us. We used speed to beat them.
Yeah, and Vegas out hit them, I think 23-15 or 23-16.
Yeah,
but, a lot of people look at that. It's not if you're out hit; it's when you hit and the quality of the hit. I mean, you can get out hit 20-8, but if your hits were at times where somebody needed to really be hit or laid out, and it meant a difference in a game to where a guy lost a puck and you got it and scored, that's the difference. It's not the amount of hits; it's the quality of when you
quality. Yeah. Well, the odd man rushes, they have 4 or 5 of them tonight. That had a lot to do. He's telling me that ice can't be too soft, or too hard, but it can be soft, definitely. Yeah. I know. I'm just thinking. So these buildings these ice plants are set up for there to be. Lance, it's too hard. It snows up in 5 minutes, and if you don't have the right cut on your skate blades, they can slide out. See, that's kind of what I thought, because it just seems like these ice plants.
I never had that problem, but then again, I never played in a place that was supposed to hold 20,000 people. Now it's only holding 1,500 or 2,000.
Yeah.
I never played in a place that big. So, that's quite possible. Like I said, I never had that issue, but I didn't say it wasn't possible. It's quite possible. I've just never played in a 20,000 seat arena.
Yeah. Well, actually, Chris has, because he's a part of the Hockey Warriors, and they're playing down there. And he said he had to put a different cut on his blades because the ice was so hard.
Yeah.
That it was grippy, right? Well, if it's grippy, when you're trying to make turns, what's going to happen?
You're going to fall.
You're going to fall. So that's what we played last Tuesday, and it's the case.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
it's like I said. I'd never played it to where it was that issue.
Yeah. Well, you were also a goalie, so your movement wasn't as much. You were more side to side, and you guys, they scrape that up. They put little nits and ditches in there, right?
Yep.
So they can.
For every period, you scrape back and forth, you scrape side to side from left to right, and then you scrape the opposite way from the red line in the goal to the curve of the crease there.
Yeah. So, and that kind of gives you some grip, right?
It gives you more grip, and it can also it doesn't slow the puck down a lot, but it can it's sometimes.
Well, I mean, if puck gets stuck there, it gives you something. Tristan Schumacher says we're coming. Well, Tristan, I don't want to take too much stock into one win. Win 2 more against Minnesota, and then I'll take all that stock.
Yeah. And we have to hope. We have to hope. Here's one thing. The Blues could be lights out. But if the Arizona Coyotes are just as good and play and win as many games or win 2 less games than the Blues, sorry, the Coyotes get the playoff spot. So it's not just
we get to play them once, though. We get to play them once, so that take that away.
They were 5 points behind them last time I checked, and I think the Coyotes are playing tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they were winning. They were winning earlier, so I haven't looked.
They're still 5 points behind, so they're 2 wins and an overtime loss or a shootout loss, in front of the Blues. So basically, if you want to get ahead of them, you've got to win 3 games. You got to win 3 games more than they win.
Yep. Well, I mean, we've got a chance of doing it, and that's all that's there. Matt Lowe says, I figured Lance was a sniping left winger.
I played, if I wasn't in goal, I played right wing.
Right wing?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right-handed, so I would probably play left.
Yep.
right? I would probably
Yep.
play left because being on the right, I would always be against. I'd be up against my shot would be against the boards instead of
Yep.
having
Yep.
freedom of being down the left.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, no, this was a well played game
It
tonight.
was a very
I
well played
can't
game.
I can't fault very much. I will say that in the second period they fell back. I felt that in the second period they were going into the third period. Why press up 3-1? Well, they weren't up 3-1 going into the third.
No.
Oh, Yotes up 3-1. Okay. I get you now, Matt. Thank you.
Get it now.
Yeah. I thought you were talking why. I thought it. So I read it. Why press up 3-1?
And then I really, he's right. And I'll tell you, it would be sad for the Blues to all of a sudden start playing great and pull out 10 out of their next 12 games, and then have the Coyotes pull out 9 of their next 12 games, and we're setting back still a few points behind them. I would really hate to see it. I hope it's not too late. I hope they can weather the storm and get 3 or 4 wins in a row, because that's what it's going to take. Winning 1, losing 1, winning 2, losing 1. That's not going to get.
No. It's going to be a win streak.
Yep.
They're going to need something close to an 8 to 10 game win streak, in my eyes. Right? Yeah. And you get that because what an 8 to 10 game win streak does is more than likely put you in the playoff spot.
And what do they have?
Right?
They have 17 games left?
About that.
17. So if they have 17 games, here's the thing that I look at. Let's just say the Blues play lights out and they go, let's say 13-4. That would be lights out. 13-4 in 17 games. But the Coyotes go 11-6 in the same amount of games. The Blues are still out of the playoffs. That's what a lot of people don't think about. They just think about, the Blues are playing good. They got a couple game winning streak. If you're behind by 5 points, that's huge. If it was 1 or 2 points, it wouldn't be that much of a difference. But you've got to really, really put it to the Blues have to win like that. They have to go 14-3 or something like that, and hope the Coyotes fall apart, or hope the Coyotes and the Wild fall apart. And the Blues and the Wild are going to have a lot to say with who gets the 4th spot and who gets the 3rd spot. Well,
here's something to look at. The Blues still have 7 games against the Wild.
That's what I was saying. The Blues and the Wild have a lot to say with that.
So, excuse me.
The Blues have to go 5-2 against the Wild. 4-3, 3-4 doesn't help them.
Yeah. Well, and see what could happen is they could actually catch up to the Wild, and the Yotes pass the Wild and drop up that way. They could actually push the Wild down. So it would be, but it just comes to this, and Ian says it best. We just need to keep on winning.
That's right.
Right? And it's 1 win, people. 1 win. We got to remember that. This is only 1 win. Now, it was a good win, and it's a character-building win. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. But is it a catapulting win? It could be. It could be.
I don't know. It could
be. And it's a catapulting win if you come out and score 2 quick ones against Minnesota and control that game.
Yeah, it could be a catapulting win. They could just play great. Or it could be just a one-time thing because of Berube shaking things up and allowing them to play really open for 1 game. We'll have to see over these next 2 games. If they go 3 and if they win the next 2 against the Wild, I'll be really impressed and I'll be really back on board. Not that I'm off board of them. I'm just trying to be realistic here, folks. Guy and I are unbiased, and we're not going to sit here and tell you, the Blues, they're a lock for that 3rd or 4th spot in the playoffs. Definitely a lock after this win. That's stupid thinking. Should we be positive about the win? Yes. Should we be positive about the outlook for Minnesota's against the Wild? Yes, we should.
No, yeah, and you're absolutely right. There's some good things. Chris Shockley says, do like that they kept the lead the whole game. E says, how does a winning streak happen? 1 win at a time? Absolutely. And I agree with that. So I'm pulling up the schedule here. Just give me just a quick second.
Yeah, that's definitely true, Chris, or whoever just said that. But you got to do it 1 win at a time. But I guarantee you, going into that next 2 games against Minnesota, Craig Berube and the players aren't telling themselves, "Man, we got 1 win. We're great. We're awesome." Because as soon as you do that, you're done.
You want to take control of the playoffs. This is how you take control of the playoffs. You have 3 games against Minnesota, 2 at home, 1 away. Then you play the Avalanche. Then you play the Coyotes. You go on a 6-game winning streak. You take control of the playoffs. Then you play 3 against the Avalanche and then 3 against the Wild. Right there, you take absolute control if you take this win and build on it for the next 3 games.
Well, it's like I said before the Colorado series, the Blues have to go at the least 4-2, but preferably 5-1 in the next 2 games. And right now they are 1-3 out of those 6 games, and they've got 2 of those games left. So if they win the next 2, they're going to be 3-3. And in my mind, they had to go 4-2, if not 5-1 in those 6 games, because I don't think Arizona's letting up. Arizona's played pretty steady, for the last 10, 15 games, and they're doing what you and I talked about before the game.
Yeah.
And they're being consistent, and they're getting hot at the right time.
Well, again, the one thing that's in the Blues' favor, and that's all I'm looking at, right? Hope to see AZ Sports Guy when we play them. Yeah, I'll try and bring him on. That's on a Saturday. I might be able to. 5 Central, so that's going to be early for me. I'll have to see if we can bring him on. Yeah, that'd be a real fun one to bring him on. Let's see if we can. Still have a makeup with the Kings, too. Yeah, that's the last game of the season. That could be really important. This team is better than we've been playing, though. Tonight this team is better than we've been playing. Tonight is an example.
Yeah, and,
Matt,
and that's right.
Absolutely, Matt. You're absolutely right. We all know that this team is better than what they've been playing. For whatever reason, they put it together tonight. But we're 30 games into the season. Into a 56-game season. This is too late to put it together almost.
You're 37 games into the season.
Yeah, 37 games into a 56-game season. Yeah, that scares me, guys. It does. I'm really scared.
People tonight, the people that have been saying, well, the Blues did it in 2019. The Blues had a half a season to get better. They didn't have just 17 games to get better. You can get better in 40 some odd games. You can get better in that kind of manner. You can make a turnaround. Well, that's how they did it with that 11-game winning streak. But it was 17 games and 5 points behind. It doesn't sound like much, guys. But when you look at the records and look what you need to do, does this team have the talent to do it? Yes, they do, and they showed it tonight. Will they? I agree. We will see over the next week or so.
No, I absolutely agree. We do have talent. And hey, by the way, when you're watching, don't forget to put that thumb in the air and tell people you like it, man. All these people watching and no likes. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm joined today by Lance the Scott of the Drop Hockey Podcast, and we are presented by Forrest Crump Enterprises, War Stories Coffee, Scars and Stripes, and Mike Zook Enterprises. Please make sure you check out stlfanreport.com for more information. I'm getting good at that, ain't I? That one came out pretty good.
Hey, Guy, it's like I told you when you first started out. Practice makes perfect. Keep doing it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the more you talk about your sponsors, the better you get at it, the more people you get, to follow them and get them out there, get Forrest Crump to give them an estimate. Buy that 4 Stories Coffee, Mike Zook Enterprises. And one thing I want to tell people that you haven't said about Mike Zook, there's a lot of hunters in our area in the Illinois Metro East, St. Charles, St. Louis area. He has all kind of hunting apparel too. So for all those hunters out there getting ready for the seasons that start in the summer, go to Mike Zook. He can get you whatever you need. And he's got a lot of stuff there.
Oh, I didn't know about the hunting stuff.
Yep.
I also know, hey, Mike, I hope you're getting better. He's fighting COVID, so I hope he's getting better. Chris Shockley brings up a good point. It was a good game, but remember, Vegas played a man down.
Yep.
Was also a guy who scored two on Monday. Good point. And the thing to remember about Monday, this is what hurt Monday the most. It was the non-stars that scored.
Yeah.
It wasn't your normal scorers that scored. That's how bad Monday was.
Yeah. Well,
and that really was. They were like
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
One thing I want to say about having to set out, can't remember his name. He's a defenseman.
Yeah.
You remember when we all said that, and most of the experts said that if Vegas signs Pietrangelo to this contract, they're going to have issues through this season and maybe seasons to come unless they make adjustments with a salary cap. That's why they had to sit him. It was a salary cap issue. If you have to sit somebody because of a salary cap issue in the middle to end of your season, you really didn't prepare. You did some things you shouldn't have done.
Yeah, they've had to do it. They've been doing it. Reeves sat. At one point, they played with only 18 players.
Yep.
So Reeves sat, and they had to sit 2 players. Yep. So they're dealing with that, but that's on them.
That's right.
Alex Martinez.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt Lowe. So we get some of that, but that's on Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, sorry.
I was just talking about why they had to sit him. I want people to know why they had to sit him and why he wasn't available.
Yep. Well, hey guys, it's a great show. I'm only going to do 30 minutes today because we got the 2 more games coming up, and I want to kind of save my voice and get ready for this weekend.
And I
got 2 great interviews tomorrow.
I have a Sonic Blast waiting in the freezer for me, so I can only do 30 minutes too.
Now I know why you had to step out.
That's right. No, that's exactly right.
You know what, guys? I'm breaking my rule. I have 2 interviews tomorrow. I have 1 interview. The first one, you already know about this one because we know I had to do a part 2, is with
Gary Unger.
Gary Unger, yeah, I just went blank. With Gary Unger, remember, if you watch that first interview on the BlueNote Fan Report on YouTube, check it out. We stopped talking about Bob Gessoff. This is a very important moment in his life, and that's why we stopped there, so he can go on a little bit more. This is when he transfers to the Flames, and for his life, there's some huge changes that happen after that. Yeah, and that's why we cut it in half.
Yeah,
and we also want to get more into the guys he played with on the Blues, and he was part of that. Part of this great resurgence that happens. Leading up to he left in 77 or 78, but this leads up to the 80 Blues, that second in the league, 102 points. That's where we're leading up to. So there's a lot going on in that interview. And then I have Kurt Bennett, who was the first American player to score 30 goals. He played a lot with the Flames.
Yep.
Ooh, you see where I'm going with this? There's some connections there. And then next week I have 2 interviews coming up. I got to double check. I think I might have double booked.
Do you know who you need to try to get on your if you want to talk about Flames and Blues? Try to get the goaltender Phil Meir, was a Blues goalie.
Phil Mears?
He played for the Blues and the Flames. So the Blues and the Flames had a lot of dealings in the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah, they really did. And the Flames were really trying to bolster what was happening, and it wasn't working.
No.
And that's why they ended up in Calgary, which was the best place for them. Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what. One thing I liked, and I told you when you interviewed Gary Unger, I've never interviewed him personally, but just like most hockey players, they're brutally honest. They won't lie to you. They don't pull punches. And that first interview, people, I got to see Gary play here for 2 years. Always loved the way he played, and I always thought it was cool the way his long blonde hair would just fly in the wind when he was flying down the wings like to get a puck. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and he was very open and honest with us, and I can't wait to continue talking to him. Okay, Lance, this is Guy and Lance saying aloha, mahalo, and we cannot wait to see you on Friday.